Hello, today I'm going to be reviewing the Hifiman, whatever, Sundaras, and these are amazing for the price. Easily one of the best headphones you can get for under $500, maybe the best headphones you can get for under $500, because these are really, really good. Just the best headphones I've ever had, period. And my previous headphones were the HD58Xs, and they completely pale in comparison to what I have now, the Sundaras. First of all is the comfort. These are a lot more comfortable to me than the HD58Xs because of the headband. It's not made of foam or any other material. It's just this simple, fake, maybe real leather headband. And it's, again, not like foam or anything, but it's still really comfortable for my head because you can just adjust the size wherever you want it, and it's not that uncomfortable for me. It might be uncomfortable for other people, but for me, it's a pretty comfortable headband, and the ear cups are so much better than the HD50X ear cups. Also, the clamping force is a lot less on these Sundaras, which I really love as well. I feel like there was way too much clamping force on the HD50X, and now that's not the case with the Sundaras. Next is the sound, and this is the most important thing to me, obviously. The sound is amazing, except for one part, which is the sub bass for me, for my ears, because I think my ears are just sensitive to sub bass, because with any headphones, it seems like the sub bass is just way more blown out than it's supposed to be. And again, that is probably just my ears being super sensitive to bass in general, because everyone's ears are different. Everyone perceives, certain sounds differently because their ears are different from other people. They might be sensitive to the mid-range, or they might be sensitive to bright neutrals, or not bright neutral, just cymbals and stuff like that. But my ears are sensitive to bass from what I can tell because, again, a lot of the time sub bass kind of overblows the rest of the range because, again, my ears are probably sensitive to bass. But I can simply just fix that by going into an equalizer like Peace and turning down the sub bass like 62 and 125 down 4.5 and down 3, and that will fix that issue. It's not that big of a deal if I have to turn on the equalizer every time I want to listen to music. It's not that big of a deal. But rather than that, I don't have to change anything else in the equalizer because the sound is amazing. And again, the problem is that my ears are just sensitive to bass, most likely. So if my ears weren't sensitive to bass, this would be a flawless headphone, but my ears are sensitive to bass, sadly. But these are amazing. Just everything else is truly really good. And there's a lot more brightness to these than on the HD50X, but for good reason. They aren't like super piercing to my ears. Again, it might be different for other people, but for me, it isn't piercing. Cymbals aren't piercing. Just hi-hats aren't piercing at all. These are just bright, decently bright headphones, but they're a lot more bright than the 50X, and it is really, really good to hear because there's a lot more details and a lot more high-end stuff that you could not, or I could not hear on the 50X. Again, everyone's different in terms of what they can hear, what, their ears, whatever. Everyone's different, but again, for me, I think I'm just sensitive to bass, but everything else I'm not that sensitive to. So, yeah, that's just a bummer that my ears are super sensitive to bass, but rather than that, it is really, really good, and the build quality, I should probably mention that, it is also really, really good. These are heavy headphones, so just keep that in mind before you get these. If you do already have them, or you don't have them, if you do have them, you'll know how heavy they are. They are pretty heavy because they are planar magnetic headphones. They are not dynamic driver, so they use a different mechanism in the ear cups to generate sound instead of just a driver. It is just multiple different magnets in the driver just producing all the sound, and there's basically just a giant magnet producing the sound, while in a dynamic driver it's obviously just a driver or in a piece of plastic just making noise. But these again are different. They are planar magnetics, and planar magnetics are a lot heavier and a lot larger than dynamic drivers, so just keep that in mind. These are going to be a lot heavier than the 50X. But I don't mind it, honestly, again, because there's a lot less clamping force, so I don't really care. If there was as much clamping force on the 50X, I would probably just completely write these off. I would not be comfortable with them at all, but because there's not that much clamping force, these are really, really comfortable to me. And again, these ear cups are amazing. I normally don't like kind of these types of ear cups. I normally like velour ear cups, if that's how you pronounce it, better, but these are still really comfortable for me. They're like a hybrid, and I really love that. These are just very comfortable for my head. And again, everyone's different. Everyone's head, everyone hears differently. So again, your mileage may vary. I don't know why I keep saying this because you probably already know this, but still, you might differ for you. But yeah, these are just amazing headphones. The only thing I can knock it for is, again, my ears just being sensitive to bass. So it's technically not a knock for just saying there's too much sub bass because, again, my ears are probably sensitive to bass. But another thing is just the cable. That's basically the only downside. I don't think it's as bad as the 58X because, I mean, look at it. It's like a noodle. It's like a very thin noodle, and I just hated that cable a lot. This is a lot more thick, but it's not great. It's just kind of average. But hey, it works, and I kind of like that right angle jack, I'll be honest. A lot of people dislike it, but I kind of like it, I'll be honest. It looks kind of cool. But rather than just a cable and my ears being sensitive, flawless headphone, for me at least. Because again, for the last time, you may differ. But again, flawless headphone besides just the cable. But that is it, and I'll see you guys later. That is my review of the Hifiman, whatever, Sundaras. And yeah.